and welcome back to another few minutes of Seizures with Sharon and Scott.
How you doing, guys?
So in our last video, we said we were going to talk about the types of seizures, and we're going to run through just a couple of them, and then what we've experienced the types that Scott has had. So they've come up with fancier terms since he started having seizures, and they used to just call them grand mal and petit mal. Now there's a whole bunch of levels of types of seizures. For those two general types, the grand mal is your body stiffens, it shakes.
Radically.
If you're standing, you would definitely fall over. Sitting, you may not be able to stay in the chair. You lose consciousness. You cannot hear people talking to you around you. They usually last. You can lose control. Here's a fun fact: you can lose control of your bowels or your bladder. Typically with the grand mal, they usually bite either the insides of their cheeks or their tongue, and don't remember doing it, because Scott usually has, well, when he first started having seizures, usually he was having the grand mal, and his arms would go stiff,
And legs.
and sometimes they make a loud noise. They kind of cry out. Scott does every time if he has a grand mal. He always falls over with grand mal. He's fallen at work multiple times, at home multiple times. They typically last about 1 to 3 minutes. They don't usually last longer than a minute. If they do last longer than 3 minutes, you do want to call 911 because that's a bad seizure. The other kind would be they call them petit mal seizures. That's when someone kind of just stares at you. And ladies, I'm not talking about when your husbands aren't just listening to what you're saying. Don't let them claim they're having petit mal seizures. They kind of stare off into space. They don't remember things for a couple of minutes. Their eyes might roll back in their head. They may just stare at you and not respond. So those are the two general types. They've broken those out into different levels. So that they call grand mal seizures tonic-clonic seizures. And then there's just a clonic seizure, which can just be muscle spasms of your arm, face, and your neck. Those don't usually last very long. And then there's the separate tonic seizure. Those typically happen in your sleep. Your muscles might tense up for about 20 seconds or so, and you would have no recollection of that happening. They can happen when you're awake, the tonic, but typically they say that they don't.
And lots of people film themselves to find out what happened during the night.
There's atonic seizures, and that's kind of the opposite of the tonic. Your muscles just go completely limp. So if you're holding something, you may drop it. If you're standing, you could potentially fall because your muscles have gone limp and can't support you anywhere can't support you like they were. Then there's myoclonic, and the myoclonic are muscle jerks. You don't necessarily lose any kind of consciousness. They call petit mal seizures, now they call them absence seizures. And then there's other kinds called focal seizures. And though focal seizures can make you smell or taste things, that they make things smell funny or they make things taste funny. Your fingers and your legs and your arms can twitch. You can see flashes of light, and have dizziness. You can get sweaty and nauseous with those. So those are the different kind of seizures. Scott recently, he used to have grand mal. It was always grand mal, since 2000 up until 2017. And he's stopped having the full grand mal seizures, but he is having petit mal seizures. So he'll be
Or
at
absence.
or absence seizures, yes. So he'll be at work and trying to do something and can't focus, doesn't respond to people when they talk to him. He kind of stares off into space. He knows those are happening. He says he calls them his pauses. So he'll call me from work and he'll say, I'm having pauses, and I'll say, well, then you need to come home, because you don't want it to turn into something else. So far it hasn't. It's always just been those brief. It usually he usually has them for a day, and then he's fine by the next day. And then he has had grand mal seizures at work. His worst one, I can't remember how long ago it was now, but he fell and he broke his elbow, and he sliced his ear on a rack at work, and he had to have his ear stitched back up a couple of days later, and his elbow still hurts, and it's been years. I mean, it's been like 5-6 years, if not longer. I can't even remember.
8 to 10 years
Before
ago.
Savannah.
I think so. Yeah.
BS before
BS.
Savannah. So, and his elbow still hurts, and you can't flick his ear, which, a wife likes to do it on it. I don't do that to him, but his ear, it is this ear. It was right. I'm not touching it, but it was right here. You can't tell. There's a little tiny scar there where they stitched it back together. So those are the different kind of seizures.
Some people call when you go limp, they kind of call it a drop seizure. And
Lots of different names.
It makes sense because your body goes limp.
Yep, and you just drop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So those are the different kinds. Seriously, you're taking a drink of a beverage on camera?
No, actually, I was off camera.
You can't wait until we're finished making our video to take
Nope.
a little drink.
Nope.
So those are the different kinds. And if you have questions, let us know. Keep watching. Not sure what we're going to talk about in our next video. It'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise for us too.
There's plenty to talk about.
There is plenty.
Medication. We could talk about medication next time.
Oh my gosh, that'll be a long video.
Leave a comment and let us know what you want to hear about next, and we'll figure something out, and we'll go with what I have and maybe what you guys have, differences, what works for other people. We'll see. Leave the comments.
Thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.